Video Games Recon.
Hello and welcome. My name is Nate from Video Games Recon, and in this video we're going to be looking at, discussing and choosing our best and favourite Exo ability. So without any further ado, let's do it to it and get into it. Okie doke, so we have 8 Exo abilities to choose from. The first is Exo Shield, which is basically like an instant riot shield that you can pull out at will. Obviously with all of these things they have a time limit, so you can't have it on all the time. You can't constantly use it and you can't keep bringing it out. So basically it's pretty much just like a riot shield but on a timer. This can be useful. It can be useful in certain circumstances. It's more useful on things like hardpoint and domination, where if you're sat in one spot for a while and you're waiting for the objective to be capped or whatever, it's a nice little thing to be able to pull up if you see an enemy and you think you're going to get caught napping or whatever. So it's a nice little thing if you can tuck up in a corner and whip out the shield and protect yourself or whatever. But in general it's sort of hit and miss. I'd say 50% of the time, if you're not an objective and you're running about, if you whip out your Exo Shield, 50% of the time it will save your life and you'll get the kill. The other 50% of the time you'll get killed. So whether it's worth having it in general for other modes like team deathmatch and stuff, I'm not convinced. Okay, so the next one is Exo Overclock. And this one is pretty simple really. Basically it gives you a speed boost in general. So your running's faster, your mobility's faster. I'm not sure about your handling, but I'd imagine your handling's a bit better. So it's basically everything's faster. Now I could see you thinking, well, I'm not sure what point there is in that. But for objective modes and things like that, if you want to let's say, I don't know, B's being capped or whatever, it's getting taken from you. If you want to rush to that quickly, this is where this Exo ability really comes into its own. Also, it can be good, let's say you're running a shotgun and you want to be getting up in, people's grill and running up on them fast. You want to be close range. Again, this is a really good ability for that sort of thing. Then we have Exo Mute Device, okay, which is basically silence your footsteps. Now, this game, you can hear footsteps a bit and stuff, but you can't really sound horror as much as you could on previous Call of Duties. And even if you can, I'm not sure it's really worth a slot on your pick 13. So I'd have to say not very good and useless in my opinion. Next we have Exo Stim. Now Exo Stim and the next one, Exo Cloak, I'd say they have very similar sort of properties and uses. This one basically gives you a temporary health boost, yeah? So your health levels are actually higher than they would be, in general. But again, it's only temporary, so when you want to use this is when you're capping an objective or running in between, choke points, or you're in an open alleyway sort of thing. You're out in the open and you think there's a good chance you might get shot. Now, it can help you quite a lot in those circumstances, especially if you come up against someone and you're in a quick twitch shootout and you happen to already have Exo Stim, you've already activated it. If you try and activate it after you've seen someone, well, they're going to kill you, because any advantage it gives you, any extra health boost it gives you, they'll have already took off you before you even pull your weapon up to shoot them. So it's only really good predetermined in your mind, oh, I'm going to run past this point, oh, it's a bit open, it's a bit dodgy, whack on Exo Stim. So it's kind of useful, but I'm not amazed by it. Next is Exo Cloak, which pretty much does the exact same thing, at least the exact same use. It makes you invisible, so you've got a cloaking device like the Predator or something, which is pretty hella cool, to be fair. But the only uses it has is, again, for running through choke points. If you're capping a flag or whatever, it's good for that, because they might not see you while you're waiting for the flag to be capped, or running through areas that are open and you can easily get shot. So it's good for that. The one advantage I'd give it over Exo Stim would be the fact that when you shoot your weapon to fire, it stops the cloak. So it's one of the few ones that sort of automatically will stop when, you know, there's an action point. So whereas the rest all pretty much get consumed in one go, aside from perhaps Exo Hover or maybe the Exo Trophy system, but you know, well, that's inconvenient. Have a message pop up anyway. Basically, this one you can spread it out more, so it's not all you know. You've not shot your bolt all in one go. Basically, you know, you can run through a corridor or across like a choke point, and then you'll see someone shoot your weapon and it's turned off. So you can actually get quite a big amount of usage out of the Exo Cloak, so that's pretty good. Next we're going to go on to Exo Hover, which pretty much does what it says on the tin. If you've played anything like Destiny or anything like that, if you've got the Warlock character, I use the Warlock character in Destiny, he's got this cool glide ability and it's sort of like that, but shit. So basically you can jump and you can glide, but you only glide for a very short amount of time, and the amount of glide you get on the bar is not very great. And in general it's pretty shit because you're just a sitting target up in the air floating around waiting for someone to just shoot you like you're a freaking, I don't know, hot air balloon or, you know, a kid's party balloon. Pretty useless basically. Next we have Exo Ping, which is kind of like, you know, that attachment. Is it target enhancer or something? Basically, and you've got the threat grenades. It does that sort of thing where you can sort of see them slightly through the walls and they've got that red shimmer effect on them. It works pretty good in general, but people who've got like protection on against, you know, countermeasures, you can't see everyone. So it's quite good, but again, this one lasts, I'd say, even less than quite a lot of the others. So it's good if you're, let's say, something like Hardpoint. If you want to storm into a room and you want to know where someone is, maybe they're camping in a corner, you know, being a bitch, and they're going to shoot you. It might be good for something like that because you can predetermine where they are, and you probably won't lose the shootout. So it's good, but it just runs out so quick, and I'm not sure it makes a huge difference. So yeah, that's Exo Ping. And next we have Exo Trophy System, which basically does what it says on the tin again. It's a trophy system, but it's, you know, on you, you know, instead of just putting it down. So is it good? Meh, maybe. Again, for objective modes like Hardpoint, you know, capture the flag, demolition, whatever. Not demolition, domination. You know, it's useful, but again, I'm not sure if you'd use it for your pick 13 system. So basically, like I said, there's only half of these are good, and the half that I'd say are good are Exo Shield, Exo Overclock, Exo Stim, and Exo Cloak. The other four are just rubbish. Actually, Exo Ping's alright. Let's say 5 then. Five of the 8 are good. Exo Ping's decent, yeah. Exo Shield, it's good, but you know, it's not great. I'm not blown away. Exo Overclock, it definitely has its uses for trying to, if you're like rushing, you got a shotgun or an SMG and you're out there just trying to, you know, get in people's grills and up close and personal, it's good for that sort of stuff. Exo Stim, it's good for, you know, Twitch shootouts or being out in the open and stuff like that. Exo Cloak, it's good for being low profile and you know, getting between choke points and stuff. And then there's Exo Ping, which is decent. It helps you pick out targets and stuff, but it just runs out too quick in my opinion, so it's decent. If I was going to have to pick my best, I would pick probably none of them, to be honest. I probably wouldn't equip an Exo ability on probably most of my classes. Some I would, but if I was forced to pick one, I'd pick the Exo Cloak. They're not bad, but on probably half of my loadout, I'd have an Exo ability and half I wouldn't. But I would pick Exo Cloak overall because it's good for getting in between choke points and stuff. It's probably the most versatile, and it's the coolest because, you know, you look like a predator. Enough said. And it's the thing it has over the others is it doesn't run out so quickly. That's sort of the problem with all the others. They run out so quickly. Aside from perhaps Exo Overclock, which is, and maybe Exo Shield, they're more on demand, you sort of use them as and when, but the rest just basically run out all in one go. And you know, it just feels like a waste a lot of the time. You use it, and there was never like an advantage. There was never anyone around for it to be beneficial. Whereas Exo Cloak, you know, you use it. If you see someone, you shoot them. The minute you shoot, your cloak gets turned off, so it saves a lot of the energy. So it has a lot more versatility. You know, you can use it for all game modes: team deathmatch, you know, capture the flag, you know, hardcore playlists. You know, it has its uses. So I would say the best one is Exo Cloak, and a close second would have to be the non option. But yeah, so they're decent, but most of them are pretty much style over substance. So, but the best one's Exo Cloak. I'd run that quite a bit. You know, I use that a fair bit, so probably on a couple of my classes. So yeah, that's my opinion on the best Exo ability. My humble opinion, I should add. So yeah, you may disagree, and please feel free to, but don't lose your shit and go crazy. Instead, feel free to have a rational conversation with me and others in the comment section. So, anywho, if you enjoyed this video, please help support us by liking, commenting and subscribing for more BS of a similar nature. Thank you and goodbye.